I know looking at me, you wouldn't guess it, but I am a really big cook. Excuse me, not in a Breaking Bad way, but in a just I like cooking. I like making a lot of different things. Uh, I normally cook for myself, but I've been having a dry spell. You know, and I think recently I've started figuring out why. Normally I cook and I put love into it, right? And for the last month or two of school, I started cooking for my ex and for my friend. That's why I call him. I was about to say something else completely, but my friend, um, and those two. So when I made food for my friend, um, I wasn't able to pay it back, and or I wasn't able to like afford it really, and my parents started like getting angry with me because they're like, "Hey, you're spending all this money on food, like for what purpose?" But I was like, "You wouldn't get it, mom and dad. It makes me happy to cook for people, you know." Because I think, if anybody out here, if you have cooked meals before, if cooking or doing anything like that, even making music or something like that, you can understand what I'm saying when I say this. To be told, if somebody eats my food and says this is delicious, I'll in that little moment, it feels like all the time and effort, everything that I did to make that meal was completely and totally worth it. You know? Like, even if it wasn't at all, it still feels like it. To be recognized, I guess, is what's so good about it. Um, what happened near the end is that, so I cooked for both my exes. For my first ex, or for the ex I first cooked for, um, ex number two, this is gonna sound weird. Ex number two is the first girl I cooked for. And I cooked for her because she had an eating disorder. Um, it was plain obvious. And I don't know. It started off as like we were friends, obviously, when I first started cooking. And I was like, hey, like, I'm just gonna start making this food. You want some? But it wasn't like that. I was like, hey, you want some? And I started off by sharing my food with her, and then I started making food for her, and I started, doing a lot more. Um, and that was cool. But then afterwards, for a while, it felt like, because I originally started because I was like, I like you, and I want you to be like healthy. I want you to be good. And but over time, um, it felt more like if I don't do this, then it's all my fault if something goes bad, you know? And I know that's just my selfishness or my ego that makes it like it's about me. Um, but yeah, eventually I stopped cooking for her because we stopped talking entirely, obviously. And then a little bit afterwards, I started cooking for ex number one. And for her, I cooked to show off. I did. I cooked to show off. You know, I think I don't think I have any redeeming qualities, to be honest. But that is something that a lot of people don't know how to do. Cook well. Where if I can't, I know I'm not good at anything at all. I don't have any redeeming qualities, but if I can cook a meal and someone say it's delicious, and if somebody that I'm dating say it's delicious, then that's something. That's one reason that they'll stay with me, which is horrible to say out loud, which is probably why you understand now that it was good that we broke up. But yeah, I also just cooked for her out of something that's like I needed to do it. And I don't know. Recently, I haven't been able to do it because that love isn't there. Every time I started cooking for people, I did it out of love. You know? Now, when I cook, I'll use the same recipes, I'll do it the same way, but it just doesn't feel the same. It feels like there's some herb or spice or flavor that I put in it every other time that hasn't been in it since. And I don't know what that is, you know? Well, I know what it is. It's that love isn't there. I don't have the love for cooking, or there's nobody to entertain. There is no choir to sing. There's nothing, you know, which is all I really did it for, you know. It's not good to outwardly say, I want attention. Nobody likes doing that. But you'll be hard pressed to find one person in this world that completely solemnly hates attention, you know? Because I promise you, show them attention and and they'll get hooked. It's the most addictive drug on the planet. Attention, care. Why do you think people fall in love? Because they get addicted to that feeling of being with the other person. And I'm not knocking being in love. I want to be in love someday, you know? I'm not knocking it at all. I'm just trying to reason it in my own head. Um, but yeah, that's why I haven't been able to cook recently. If I do cook, if I do ever get back on the horse and decide to cook, and maybe it doesn't taste bitter anymore, I'll show you guys, because yeah, I just want to share stuff on here. I guess this is like my blog page. I guess I don't know. It's kind of stupid, right?